What is up? Welcome to another day out on, well, I guess Stillwater today. Y'all remember Andrew?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
If you don't remember Andrew, we'll link some videos where he's absolutely face crushed Casey catching giant fish. Go check his channel out over at the Fly Dudes. We're gonna hang out today though and try to target some tiger trout, some cutthroat trout underneath a bobber. Hopefully have a bunch of bobber downs. Andrew is a much more experienced, much better fly fisherman than any of us are, for sure.
I would not say that.
I would say that. But that's the key, guys. Always go find somebody who's better than you at whatever you're trying to learn or trying to do or trying to get better at. That is how you're gonna increase the amount of fish you catch if you're fly fishing anyways. Not only will you catch bigger fish, but you're gonna learn different techniques and try to get more efficient. So we're gonna be out in this beautiful beast of a boat, floating around, throwing some different flies.
This janky anchor.
Just dragging around an anchor.
I found this anchor in the bottom of a river channel like 2 years ago, and I'm surprised it hasn't popped this boat yet, to be honest with you. But it works. It holds. It's heavy. And then I got the 25-pound dumbbell as the rear anchor. So that'll keep us nice and stationary, which is important when you're fishing lakes, is to make sure that you're not moving around, if you're indicator fishing specifically, but you want to make sure that you're sitting perpendicular to the wind with the anchors, fishing downwind. That way your drift, if you even want to call it a drift, your cast or whatever, will have the longest amount of time in the water in the zone, which will get you more fish.
We've been here less than 5 minutes and you just got pro tip 3201, or is that 3202?
That's 3202.
3202. So you guys were already learning and we just started. Anyways, we're gonna finish getting ready. We're gonna get the boat in the water. And the next clip you see is gonna be one of us setting the hook on some kind of a big trout species. Told you.
Sweet little cutty. Gills are super weird. They're like indefinitely, ew. Look how mutated that fish is. Ew, look at his like fins.
How'd you pick that one up there, bud?
He ate a black mohair leech on the strip. What happened right before that fish ate my fly, BMack?
I've not had this happen before, but a fish porpoised out of the water trying to hit my indicator. Not the flies underneath of it, but the actual indicator. Needless to say, we did not land that fish, but we're on the board.
On the board.
The skunk has officially been cleared. Now we can kick back, have a good time. We're trying to figure out the fish. Andrew's a bit of a Stillwater legend, if you will.
I would not say legend.
No, but I don't spend a ton of time on Stillwater, so we're trying to determine the depth, the water column depth of which these fish are cruising around and feeding, and then what fly are they hitting. A lot of them have been hitting some bugs up on top of the water. Indicators, just hit a stripped leech. So we'll see. It's just kind of a trial and error process. Once we kind of figure it out, then usually the fishing can get good. We're in the test and locate phase currently of this particular mission. That was quick. We're back. It's been 2 seconds.
And I look over and my indicator is just absolutely tanked, but that is a gorgeous fish.
Dude, how pretty is that guy?
Holy cow. Look at those colors, guys. What? Okay, so he ate a black balanced leech about, I don't know, 10, 11 feet deep. Totally gobbled it. All right, guys, give this thing a really good look real quick, because that right there is a gorgeous fish. He's got big shoulders on him. I actually think this is my first Colorado cutthroat I ever caught. I think that other fish with the gimp fins, I'm not counting him, because he was kind of gross, to be honest with you. But this fish is perfect, so stoked on that. Woo!
So Andrew is going to show us how he likes to rig up for the Stillwater. Your traditional tapered leader that you see in all fly shops, what I've used predominantly, is not something he does. So we're going to see the secret sauce to him face crushing us anytime we fish with him.
First of all, tapered leaders are a lie, unless you're dry fly fishing. Basically, all that we do, so I actually manhandled his tapered leader and turned it into a heavy butt section to run the indicator on. And this way, you're not going to get a ton of, if you don't want to run an indicator on super light line, because like especially like a thingamabobber has a metal ring in it, and if you have it on light line, a couple of really hard tugs on that will actually cut your line, which is not good, because then you'll lose that trophy fish that you've just been staring at a bobber for. So what we'll do is we'll run a heavy butt section, typically like 20 to 25 pound monofilament, so it floats. And then I think it's called a Rapala knot. So I'll do a Rapala knot basically without a fly on it. So all it is it's a square knot. You'll go through your the actual loop made in that knot. Okay, then you'll pinch it here. You'll go 1, 2. You only really need 3 for heavy line like that. and then we'll go back through your square knot, and then we'll tighten it. Always important to get it as wet as you can, because any sort of like added friction here will weaken that knot. So now we have a loop that's not gonna break at all. What I do is I will run this rig right here, and then I will run straight P-line fluorocarbon, whatever weight pound that you want for the situation. This stuff sinks faster, it's more dense, thinner diameter, so when you have your flies on, especially if you're fishing deep, this way you know that your bugs are all the way down the entire time, which is important because where you are at in the water column is going to change how many fish you catch. So I know my wingspan's like 6 feet, and I know we're fishing about 15 feet deep right here. So I'm gonna pull out about 13 feet, and that's gonna be going to the top bug. And so I'll just tie, just like your standard clinch knot to the loop. This is just 6 pound. So I'll tie a clinch knot to that, get it wet, tighten, then we'll go straight down here. And if you don't wanna run any split shot, you don't have to. So we'll put on this giant conehead midge so we don't have to run a split shot, and they'll actually eat this. Big tungsten bead. I do a Rapala knot to every single bug that I tie on. So what it does is it creates a loop so that in the wind, this fly can jiggle and undulate in the water just like the real thing will. So I'll do that exact same knot that I put up higher in that heavy mono. I'll do a 4th wrap while I'm wrapping up though, just to make sure that there's enough points of contact so it doesn't slip or cut into itself. So I'll do the exact same knot, 4 wraps, we'll go back through that loop. Now you have a loop, and that thing can just jiggle right on that loop just like that. And in the wind, it's great because the wind will make it bounce around in the water and basically make it so you don't have to do anything. Then we'll run about 1.5 feet more P-line. We'll tie off of the shank of the hook, and you're just gonna tie a standard clinch knot to this. Just beware, if you're fishing barbless hooks, this can slide off if you don't have your knot tight enough. So just be conscious of that. We'll throw our regular clinch knot in, that's not going anywhere. And then we'll do that exact same loop, this time to a black balance leech, because purple wasn't cutting it and I caught all my fish on black. And then we'll tie that directly on here. And then, so that's your basic rig. And then there's one more thing that we're gonna do to ensure that we are in the correct spot in terms of how deep we are in the water column. Just to double check and make sure we're at the right depth, we're going to grab a pair of hemostats and we're gonna clip it onto our bottom fly. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this over the side. And this works best if you're not fishing a lake that has a big change in depth. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop this thing all the way down and make sure that we're only a couple feet off of the bottom. And we hit bottom right here. So we are about 3 feet off the bottom, which is a little bit too far off. So now I'm gonna slide this indicator up about that far. And now we know with the utmost certainty that those flies are only 1.5 feet from the bottom, which is where those fish will be cruising on the bottom looking up for fish, for food to eat. That is the biggest secret that when I learned, oh no, I'm stuck on something. Oh, I'm stuck on the anchor rope. Be conscious of your anchor rope.
If you didn't realize already, Andrew's a wealth of knowledge. You do need to be cognizant though of the anchor rope when you throw your hemostats over. We got a real yard sale here,
Oh
Clark.
my gosh.
All right, so like we were saying before, we had a complete and utter yard sale happen. Knowing your depth, single greatest takeaway if you learn anything from this video. I've certainly already learned a lot in the hour we've been on the water. To his point, if you know the depth and you're not guessing, but you actually know the depth, then you can set your flies and your indicator accordingly. And theoretically, the fish, like you said, are gonna be swimming along, looking up, and then boom, take the fly. You're gonna catch a lot more fish.
Trout are predators, so they're always facing up. They're always looking to ambush from below, never from above. It's better to be too shallow than too deep, but if we know the fish are cruising along the bottom, picking along bugs as they go, we know that as long as we're in their line of sight, even if we're up a tiny bit, it's okay, but you wanna make sure that you're still in the zone that they're going to be feeding in, which is the most important thing about that.
All right, so we're gonna get the rigs back in the water with the new setup that Andrew just rigged on for my rod, and we're gonna see if it works or if he's just all smoke and mirrors and a lot of talk. Here's one thing, if you fish with a lot of guys that are really good at fly fishing, without fail, they're gonna tell you how much they know about fly fishing. They're gonna give you a lot of tips, a lot of tactics, a lot of stories. Just roll with it. Just roll with it and take what you wish to keep. If you've watched any other videos of their buddy Tom Provo, he's a prime example of that.
I did meet Tom and I can confirm.
We love you, Tommy.
All right. We're gonna send this little guy. Look how pretty that fish is. Oh my goodness. Stoked on that. Now we need BMack to catch a fish. That's the important thing here. Camera's on. We just said we're in the zone.
I literally, yeah. I was like, BMack, I'm feeling this. I think we're in the zone.
It was
the indicator twitched, and then he just, boom, wrecked into this fish. And it looks like a tiger trout.
It does, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, get in there! Get rolling!
Nice, dude.
We're on the board!
Oh, sick, man. Dude, look at that thing, dude. He's so fat.
The shoulders on that bad boy.
Ooh-wee. That's tight. So BMack was like, let's see if Andrew's full of it or not, because a lot of fly fishermen are full of it. I like to think I know lakes marginally well.
He's definitely got the stillwater fishery pretty dialed.
I got it a little bit dialed. I'm hoping that's the case.
We had to make a couple adjustments.
We did.
A couple audibles to the playbook, but we just moved and re-anchored, and that seemed to be the trick, along with knowing the correct depth.
Yeah. In the zone, and that fish ate basically the moment his flies got to the right depth.
Yeah, it was not in there for very long at all. Oh my gosh, he's got
He's
shoulders.
so fat, dude.
It hasn't been feisty this morning.
They're hot. The water temperatures are putting these fish kind of. Oh, look at that thing. Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at that.
Guys, check this out real quick. Look at the cool stripes on that bad dog. So sick. Andrew's gonna take a couple photos. We'll get back in the water, catch some more fish. We just said we're in the zone.
I literally, yeah. I was like, BMack, I'm feeling this. I think we're in the zone.
All right, he's on, and this seems like a solid fish. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, look at it. It's a good fish, dude. He's rolling. Big fish. Is he wrapped?
Might be wrapped. Yeah, he's got wrapped up.
He's wrapped in the tail. Is that a tiger trout or is that a cutty? Oh, weird.
I wonder if it felt so big.
Nice, dude.
On the board.
On the board.
Unorthodox, but yet on the board.
On the board for the new spot.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool fish.
It's been a minute, folks. It's pretty cutty. Not the prettiest one by any means, but at this point, we're not being too picky.
No, we are not.
He felt so much bigger than he was. That was weird how he got hooked.
He had to have eaten that top bug.
Been an awesome day so far. We have 2 fish and 3 fish respectively. We got both species that reside in this body of water. But we're looking for that one kind of real make the day kind of fish.
Right there. That's what we're looking for.
Exactly.
30 plus.
I would be happy with like mid-20s, but if we want to go 30s, like okay. I'm not going to be mad at that.
I wouldn't complain about it.
But beautiful day on the water. Trying to get a few more fish before we head on out of here, but the wind is, we're not supposed to talk about the wind, never mind.
Nope. Not supposed to talk about it.
There's been a hint of W today. A hint of W. The day has gotten dramatically slower. That is fishing. I think this fishery may be a little bit better in the morning. It's been a mixture of wind, sun. Now we got a little stormy cloud system coming in, and we haven't really touched a fish for a little bit. So
we've both missed.
We've 4
fish in this spot, like total.
Yeah, we've not connected on a few opportunities.
I missed 2. You missed 2 or 3. Like, I don't know.
But we got a couple to hand, some beautiful fish, a blended style of species, which was cool, and had a great time out here. Kind of got a late start, but it is what it is. So make sure you guys do us a favor, head over to Andrew's page,
the Fly Dudes.
Fly Dudes.
Fly fishing,
if you like
kind content, stuff like that.
Lots of fly fishing stuff. If you're maybe newer into fly fishing, or frankly, if you're kind of intermediate at fly fishing, Andrew has a lot of stuff he can teach you. I've learned a lot already today. I know Casey says the same thing when he's been out fishing with him. And we're definitely going to do more fly fishing content with Andrew. Continue to try to learn from him. Like I said earlier, surround yourself with people that are better than you when you're trying to learn something new. That is the fastest way to acquire knowledge and get better at just whatever that activity is you're trying to do. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate all your support as always. Go to subscribe to Andrew's channel, The Fly Dudes. Check it out. We'll leave a link in the description box. We'll see you next time, guys.